Good evening, everyone, and maybe you're watching this after the fact. So thank you guys so much for plugging in to hear that Kids Tell All and a couple of moms sharing generations of kids who have been eating Juice Plus products for a very long time, if not their entire lives. So I'm Jamie Kinsey. I've been eating Juice Plus for over 19 years. All three of my kiddos have had Juice Plus in their bloodstreams their entire life. And this is Ethan. He's my 10-year-old. He's going to be almost 11 in a couple of weeks. So he's joining us tonight. He's going to share. So we're excited to share some tips and tricks that he has up his sleeves. And if you guys are on here, I would love for you to share this far and wide with any parent that you know, because if you have children, you know the importance of giving them a healthy start in life. And we believe that healthy kids come from healthy homes. So we've made it our mission to help the whole family cultivate positive habits. And that is going to start with Juice Plus and our Healthy Starts for Families program. So I'm going to actually have Brandy tell you guys a little bit more here at the beginning about the Healthy Starts for Families initiative.
Well, hello, everybody. And for those of you who don't know what the Healthy Starts program is, it's an opportunity where when an adult eats Juice Plus, they can sponsor a child for free. And we have, I don't want to go into too much detail because I think tomorrow we're going to find out a little bit more. So I'm just going to share this. For every adult who gets on Juice Plus, you have an opportunity to sponsor that child for free. And when I think about this Healthy Starts for program, Jamie and I actually, when we got started 19 plus years ago, the goal was to target 25,000 children. And you all, it is up to 1.8 million children today. It is my favorite study in the world, just because of the positive benefits that has really come from this study with sponsoring a child for free. And that study is subjective. Generally, the parents fill out a form. But let me just share a few statistics on why I feel like they've gone from 25,000 to over 1 million. Because when you are getting results, when greatness is happening, we want to continue it, right? So those children who were eating Juice Plus, they had a 60% positive, like 60% were missing less school. 56% were taking fewer prescription or over-the-counter medications. 71% were drinking more water. 66% were going to the doctor less. 71% were consuming less fast food and fewer soft drinks. And 61% were eating more fruits and vegetables. So when I think about that, I think it's absolutely profound. And so that is why we really are here today. You know, we're thinking about back to school and how we can set our kids up for success, and good nutrition is just one of those pieces.
Hey, I know we had a plan in place, but since Millie is being so good right now, do you want to start with Millie?
Sure.
Okay, great.
Millie, what are you eating?
Show what you're eating, Millie.
Show them. So you all, I'm a mom of 4. And so when we got started eating Juice Plus, we only had a 10-month-old, and now they're 20, 16, 15, and 12. And so, of course, my niece is sitting on my lap right now, and she is 3. And we're kind of getting ahead of things here, Ethan, because Danielle's kiddos were going to go first, but who knows how a 3-year-old's attention span's going to go, right? So, Millie, what do you do with these capsules? What do you do? You're watching her just eat them, right? Like she literally just opens up the capsules. This is her second red one as we're sitting here. She just keeps eating them. And so this is just something that I think is just really near and dear to this mama's heart. I didn't know about metabolic programming when my kids were little. But when she was 6 months old, we were taught a little later from Dr. Sears that if you just open up these capsules and sprinkle them on their tongue, it will set them up for success their entire life. So at 6 months old, that's exactly what we did. I will share with you that she will eat any of our Juice Plus products. Um, and she sits here often and just opens these up and sprinkles them in, or you're watching her chew them. And you know, when the girls have their friends over, they'll say, she's really chewing them. She's really chewing them like she loves them. Right. And if you think about that, think about when we're giving our children, let's think about babies when they're fed formula. I don't know about you, but I think it smells terrible. I don't even know what it tastes like. Right. But just think, like, babies think it tastes good. So just know you get to set your kids up for success from the very beginning. And Millie, tell them about the vegetables. Tell them about cabbage. Do you like cabbage? Or do you love cabbage? I love it. I love it, right? So as we talk about this, it's not just vegetables, but even on Friday, I was like, do you know what you're eating in those chewies and capsules? And I literally went through, because it's broccoli, parsley, tomatoes, carrots, garlic. When I got to garlic, she's like, I love garlic, right? Beets, spinach, cabbage, lemon peel, rice bran, and kale. And so when I think about this, like, these are conversations that we get to set our kids up for success every single day. And there's not a fruit or vegetable that she really won't eat. So that's a little about Millie. What is your favorite, Millie? The berries. I don't know. I think the omegas win. One night she had 8 of them. I thought that was a little excessive, but guess what? Thank God it's good for the brain. So
it's just food. It's just food.
So
good job, Millie. You did so amazing.
Hey, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for let her go first, since you never know where we're going to go with this. So
you're welcome. If she wants to share with us later, bring her back up.
Okay, awesome.
Well, let's go on over to Danielle and her 2 boys, and you can introduce them for us. Maybe tell us like what their favorite sport or food or activity is, Danielle.
Yeah, so we've got Lucas here and Liam. Lucas is going to be 6 pretty soon, and Liam is 4.5. They've had Juice Plus since, their whole life, since they were in my belly. We have one more little brother, Layton. He'll be 2 on Wednesday. He's also had Juice Plus since he was in my belly. We don't miss a day. Juice Plus is probably the thing they look forward to the most in the mornings. When I say it's time for our gummies, how excited do you guys get? So much. So excited. Can you tell it's getting close to bedtime? Right now, we are getting ready to start soccer. So it's really important that we are eating all of our fruits and vegetables, getting all of the good nutrition in our bodies. We also just started kindergarten last week and moved over to pre-K on Tuesday of last week. And so we don't want to get sick because we don't want to miss a day of school or a day of soccer. So leading up to our first day of school, we doubled up. We took our Juice Plus gummies in the morning and in the evening just to get a little extra nutrition in our bodies. Lucas, what color gummy is your favorite?
Green.
Can you show them your green gummies? It's your favorite. Red. Can you show them the red ones? We keep them in these jars. So the bags are great, but we keep them in the jars because it's easy for them to pop the lid off and then they can get them themselves. Sometimes I have to put them up a little higher because they will take the jars and go hide and eat more than what we're supposed to. But I don't get worried about it. I'm just like, oh, we're going to run out a little bit sooner because it is just fruits and vegetables. You might be in the bathroom a little bit more than normal, but that's okay. They're getting all the good stuff. We always talk about what's in our gummies when we eat them, so they know that they're getting lots of fruits and vegetables. We have a lot of conversations at our house around fruits and vegetables. We try to eat a lot of fruits and veggies. We did the gut health reset and we tracked a lot of our plants. We got to 22 different plants with these guys in our week that we did it. So they're excited. They're trying more than what I ate when I was a kid. And I have to believe that it's because they get exposure to a lot of different plants in our gummies and in our shakes. So we're really, really proud of that. Do you guys want to show them how you eat your gummies? Don't eat all of them. Just eat. You can have 2 red and 2 green, and you can have 2 green and 2 red. You want to eat them? Okay. And then you tell them, what's your favorite vegetable? Yo, Lucas. What's your favorite vegetable?
Broccoli.
Broccoli. What's your favorite fruit, Liam?
Strawberry.
Strawberries. So we eat lots of fruits and veggies at our house, and they're not afraid to try them. Tonight we had Brussels sprouts. This one loved them. This one liked them, but at least they're trying them. So pretty proud of that.
Yay! That's a huge win. You guys
Yeah.
are doing amazing.
Good job, guys.
Congratulations. Well,
Thanks,
Danielle,
Danielle.
we'll bring you back on in just a little bit to share more of your story.
Yes.
You got a great one. So thanks for being with us, boys.
Can you say bye?
Bye.
Bye. So Ethan is going to share. So you saw Millie do some capsules by chewing them, and Brandy talked about sprinkles. You got to see the boys eat the gummies. And those are good for adults too, who have difficulty swallowing, but Ethan's going to show you some ways too that might make swallowing capsules a little bit easier. So he had the gummies when he was little, and like Millie, when he was 3 years old, he had been watching his big brother and sister for so long take the capsules. And so we had run out of gummies, and I first took this, and then I put applesauce just like on a spoon one morning because we had ran out. And at first, like, I opened up the capsule and put the sprinkles on top of the applesauce, and he just took it all in one bite. So you want to hold this for me?
Mhm.
I mean, I know you guys know what I'm doing, but just for easy visual. And you could do this on yogurt. I mean, I don't suggest like mixing it in like a full thing because it will get really runny because there are live enzymes in them. But like Brandy said, like, these kiddos really don't know us any different. That's all right. Careful. And then you would just eat the applesauce. And then maybe have some other applesauce as a chaser if you wanted. He's like, I taste the green, Mom. Now, the next day after we had been doing this, Ethan got into the little container I had, and he got the capsule and he put it in his mouth before I could open it up and put sprinkles on the applesauce or yogurt that morning. And so actually that day, Jaren's like, here, Ethan, drink this. And it was a shake that was thicker, and he was able to drink it down. So then my background is in occupational therapy, and a lot of our older patients, as they would get medicine, would get them like the pills in applesauce or in pudding or in thickened liquids because it made it easier for them to swallow. So I was like, okay, well, let's just put, the capsule, on the applesauce, and then you can swallow it like this. And he did it really easily that morning, and he wanted to be on capsules pretty much ever since when, he was 3. And so now today, like, all my kids swallow capsules. Do you want to get some water? Yeah. And they can put multiple ones in their mouths and swallow it all at one time. Now, a tip, so I would start with the applesauce if you have kids who have, this, honestly, a lot of it's this mental fear of it not going down. So the thicker the consistency of what it is that they have, I mean, think about chewing up a piece of steak. I mean, you're pretty much swallowing a pretty big bolus of food that's not really broken down. So you can swallow a capsule. But a lot of times what we teach people to do is when they do take the capsules is just to tuck their chin down, because that capsule with that water is going to float through the back of your throat. A lot of people think you're going to throw it down this way, but it's going to come to the top of your mouth because it wants to float in the water. So tuck your chin and swallow, and you're good to go. Can you do that?
And while we're watching him do that, Jamie, I think it's so important for people to see this, because Kaylee was 2 when she started swallowing the capsules. And when she asked to swallow them, I at first said, no, you can't swallow capsules. And then I thought, well, why am I telling her no when she's seeing me do that, right? And so Juliet just asked a really good question about food allergies. Y'all, if your child has an allergy to any of the fruits, veggies, omegas, berries, chances are they're going to be really safe with this, because we found out, I didn't know this even as a nurse until Juice Plus walked into our life, that allergies occur in the mouth. So because it's encapsulated, it's already getting past the mouth. And we do have people now who can consume fruits and vegetables and really have anaphylactic reactions to some of the fruits and vegetables in here. However, they don't. They've been able to take this because it's getting past them out. So I think I wanted to share that because I think so often maybe, I mean, it goes back to me thinking I never liked sweet potatoes because my parents didn't like sweet potatoes. So when our kids are wanting to try something, let's encourage them to try them. And even 2, 3, most of our kiddos are swallowing these capsules because they're seeing us do that every day and they want to do what we're doing.
Absolutely. And I will just give a disclaimer, just because I have a son who did have like genuine like nut allergies, is that, I mean, depending on the severity, you may want to consult with your doctor. But it makes a lot of sense to me because the way we got desensitized to nuts was to start with a very small amount in a liquid. We increased that till he could do small amounts of the actual nuts, and they increased that until he could tolerate like a large dose. And so now he's desensitized to 6 different nuts, which is awesome as a parent. But if you think about it, Juice Plus is actually kind of the same way. You're getting such tiny amounts of so many different fruits and vegetables consistently that I think that it works in a desensitization. But you could always try it in your doctor's office, maybe the next time you go. So maybe bring those capsules with you and let them try the doctor's office. And I know Brandy had a customer whose daughter was so allergic, right? Tell a little bit about that.
She was so allergic to fruits and vegetables, like she would have an anaphylactic reaction just by bagging any fruit that grew on a tree. She would have an anaphylactic reaction. So she could not bag an apple or an orange in the grocery store. And I'll never forget when the mom wanted to try these. And I was nervous as all get out, right? But again, parents get to be their own advocate and do things. And actually, that's probably what made it so much better after she got past this. But the point being is she literally started with having her hold the capsules in her hand to see if she'd have a reaction. She didn't. So she kind of worked through those steps. And honestly, the child today is now an adult. And she came up to me just a few years ago at the swimming pool. And she's like, I'm a firm believer that I can eat fruits today that I didn't used to eat because of how this was introduced to me when I was little. So yeah, I would definitely consult with your doctor for sure. But no, I mean, it's things along the way. And I remember when the mom asked the question, the particular person said, well, I think you're not going to have any trouble with it, but that's the risk you're going to take. And I'm like, what? Like, no, I don't want this to happen. But knowing how positive it's been, it's happened over and over at this point with greatness. But again, yes, I would make sure that you're in the doctor's office or giving them a heads up for sure. And this, like I said, when I say anaphylactic reaction, the mama they had to carry an EpiPen with them wherever they went.
Yeah. A little bit back to that metabolic reprogramming. So just like Danielle's boys did, we did this fun little gut reset a couple weeks back, and it was trying to track 30 different plants in a week. And Ethan and I on the last day had about 4 left. And the last thing I ate to get my 30 was kimchi. And Ethan was like, I'm not eating that. I was like, you don't have to eat it. And so he goes in the fridge, he pulls open both doors, he takes out a big head of cabbage and he said, can I eat this? And I said, yeah, you can eat that. And so I cut off leaves and measured it out. And he just sat there and ate raw cabbage to get his 30. And so it's really cool to, like, I didn't eat like that when I was that way. I was such a picky eater. So to be able to have all 3 of my kids, so there's not a fruit or vegetable that they won't eat, it just gives me peace of mind as a mom. And I'm forever grateful for that. So speaking of the moms, we're going to transition over, and Brandy is our first mom going to be, who did we have? Was it Shelly? No, I think
It was Danielle.
Yeah, we're going to bring Danielle back to share some stories.
Set my kids up to bed. It was time. So like I said, Lucas and Liam and Layton have had Juice Plus in their bloodstream since I was pregnant with them. I attribute 3 fantastic pregnancies to the nutrition that was in my body and their bodies throughout my whole pregnancy. I will be honest, I kind of took for granted how lucky we were to have this in our lives, but to also have very healthy babies. Layton will be 2 on Wednesday. So it's about this time last year that we were getting ready to have our 3rd. 2 years ago that we were getting ready to have our 3rd. Had a fantastic pregnancy, healthy checkups, no issues. When he was born, about 45 minutes after we delivered him, they discovered that he had an undiagnosed congenital heart defect. He had no other signs in utero. After he was born, he was 8 pounds, 15 ounces. He's a massive, healthy, juicy baby. But I will cut this down as short as I possibly can. I'm looking at a picture of him right now, just trying to jog my memory with everything. But he was born with a condition called transposition of the great artery. So his aorta and his pulmonary artery were flip-flopped, which required open heart surgery at 5 days old. Usually with this kind of defect, you see multiple other health issues that come along with it. Holes in the heart. A lot of times one side of the heart is smaller, lung issues. He had none of that. I think it's a mixture of a lot of things. I think we were very blessed to have somebody or something watching over us while he was growing in my belly. But I also think a lot of it has to do with his nutrition while I was growing him. And that really made us realize how lucky we are to have this fantastic nutrition. We had such a healthy baby. We came home with a baby at 10 days from delivery that had open heart surgery. And I just thank God every single day for this nutrition and the doctors and everything that we were able to bring him home so quickly. But Linda actually inspired me to do this. She had a surgery with a scar, and she put the omega. She had told me that she put our omegas on his scar to help to her scar to help lessen the severity of it. So we did the same with Leighton. And can I share my screen? I'll show you guys pictures.
Absolutely.
I quickly searched for this. So this is just am I sharing do you see Leighton?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm on 2 screens, so I just want to make sure. So the picture in the top left corner is about a week after we came home from the hospital. All of his bandages had fallen off. The picture right below that is about a month after his surgery. And the big picture is 4 months after his surgery, and his scar is pretty much invisible. I started putting the omegas on his scar at least twice a week for the first couple weeks. And then I went to like once a month. And then like I would periodically just put it on when I would remember to do it. His scar now, you can't even see it. I mean, you can see it like if I'm looking for it. But to me, I was like, if these can heal the outside of your body, which it's not technically meant to do, can you imagine what it's doing to the inside of your body? Like, it is healing. It is fixing everything on the inside of your body. Inflammation. I mean, his scar is not raised at all. It's completely flat with his skin. It's soft. There's no discoloration. So we're believers. We also give him the omegas. Lucas likes to chew them up too. Like Millie, he was like in my ear, he goes, "We didn't bring down my orange pills for me to chew up." I'm like, "Sorry, buddy, that was somebody else's thunder. Like, we weren't about to steal that. You can go upstairs and have your orange pills." So my kids get them. I mean, for me and being a heart mama, it's so important for us to have that nutrition in Leighton's body just to keep him as healthy as possible. All of our kids, but especially Leighton, because he's going to be predisposed to things that the other boys aren't predisposed with. And then now that we're getting into preschool and pre-K and kindergarten, I'm like, we can't get sick. I don't want to deal with getting sick, and knock on wood, like we haven't yet. It's such a peace of mind going into this new stage of life that we're in, knowing that our kids are armored with all this good stuff. And I don't want to take time off of work, but I also don't want to see my kids sick and have to nurse them back to health. We're just nursing them every day throughout the year to keep them healthy. So that's my story in a nutshell, or part of my story, I should say, in a nutshell. But just such a firm believer on this product. It is unbelievable what it's done for us, and for a lot of people in our lives.
It's powerful. Thank you for sharing. And that brings to mind, like, one of the things that we say, it's like a nutritional seatbelt. You know, when you get in the car, it's not because you intend to get into a wreck. It's there to protect you in case something happens. And that's exactly what you did, you know, proactively, was to help give him a nutritional seatbelt. And you did get thrown something, and you guys are handling it really well. He's thriving, and that's like the best part. And
The best. He's
yeah.
crazy. You would never know that he had any sort of health issues.
No. And I think we're going to continue to see them grow up and be athletes, and I'm excited to watch that journey as well. So we're going to turn it over to Shelly. Shelly did not get to have Juice Plus prenatally, and she has some powerful mom stories to share too. So Shelly, can you join us? I mean, now you do have one Juice Plus baby, which is awesome, but come on here.
So come here. This is my oldest, Gage. You can say hi.
Hi.
Gage is 12, and we get to give moms like Danielle lots of hope, because when he was a baby, he was born with a congenital heart defect, just kind of the same way. We didn't know anything was going on. And so he got to have heart surgery as a baby and all sorts of stuff. And he was not a Juice Plus baby. I did not know about it at the time. And we were just blessed that he had good health through that whole journey. But I also changed careers so that I could basically stay at home, work from home type situation, and have our kids not go to daycare. And so because I was like, he has a heart problem, you just can't stick him in a daycare, like he'll get everything under the sun. And we didn't know what that would look like. So when he was 4, we were going to go to preschool for the first time, and I was flipping out. And so I learned about Juice Plus. I finally figured out what it was. It was just food, and it was good for his heart. And I was like, sign us up, sign up the whole family. And so, fast forward his story, he's my kid that hardly ever gets sick. I mean, we actually had to go for a new patient checkup when he had to have a checkup for school, because our family doctor knew us, but hadn't seen him in like over 3 years since he had joined the practice. And so he's like, I know everyone else, but I've technically never seen him as a patient. And I was like, oh, okay. So that just shows you, like, he doesn't have to go. I mean, he goes for his cardiology checkups, but he's not in for sick visits. And that's really cool, because not all kids are like that. And so this past year, when he went for his cardiology checkup that he gets every year, they said that his heart was functioning at a better percentage than it was last year. And for a kid that's 12, they usually say what he has. You have to start watching out when they become teenagers, like he has leakage in his heart and those kind of things. And it's moderate, it's some enlargement of his heart. And they say, you really got to start watching them at this age. This is when things can start to go downhill. You can have to have some more surgeries, through their teen years and that stuff. But he's actually improving his heart function. And you know what? The only thing that he did different this year was, I don't know, maybe 4 to 6 months before his checkup, he started taking 2 capsules of each color instead of 1, because he was like, I just really want to take 2 like you and Dad. And so I was like, okay, buddy, that's fine. And so he takes all 4 colors. He drinks shakes occasionally. And he started taking all 4 on a consistent basis, but 2 of them instead of 1. And then he got those results from the doctor. And I'm like, that has to, one change, it has to be the variable. And so we just think that's really cool. He's just a really cool kid. Everybody's always so proud of him and all that he does. But he's my oldest. I have a girl in the middle. She has had wonderful experiences from Juice Plus. Helped her eczema and all sorts of things. But our son was our next son, our last son, I say. He is 2.5, and he was my Juice Plus baby. And so it was so fun to be part of this community, because I never thought I'd have more kids. And I just was put in a positive place that we decided to have another child, and to have a Juice Plus baby was just part of the thrill, really. Gage was born about just under 7 pounds, and Timber was almost 9. And I gained 20 pounds less with Timber than I did with Gage. So he was a really healthy baby. It was a great pregnancy. I took lots and lots of Juice Plus. He was my only kid that I nursed, and so that was a blessing. So he's been getting Juice Plus all through this time. And we did the same kind of process that you guys have been talking about, baby spoons and putting those sprinkles on as soon as we could feed him. And it's amazing. He eats so well. But the thing that we notice about Timber is his cognitive skills. That kid, he's amazing. He was talking in almost full sentences at about a year old. And people would come up to me and they'd be like, is he talking? Like, they didn't realize that he was so young, because he could tell you exactly what he wants. And he, to this day, I mean, he can say anything that he wants. It's crazy to have a small child who can talk to you like that. But even at that, I remember he was at my mom's house, and my sister-in-law and he was sitting and he was watching a show on TV, and he got up and he told my mom and my sister-in-law what happened in the show. And he was probably maybe 18 months old. And they're like, he understands what's going on. And I was like, yeah, like, he gets it. He's just incredibly smart. I mean, his cognitive skills and level are at a level at this age that my other children didn't even scratch. I mean, they're smart kids. They really are. But I don't even know how to explain it other than being a Juice Plus baby, because he's incredibly intelligent. And when he hears something, he learns it, he sees it. And it's just like the processing. And he's the same. He just eats and eats and eats the gummies. And yeah, he loves it all. He just had a shake, and he's like, knows how to make his own. And he was in the pantry tonight, shaking his shake and shaking his booty. So it's just so fun to have little ones and to teach them good ways, because just like Gage, will you tell him, what's your favorite vegetable? He's almost a teenager, he's down here playing video games. Your favorite vegetables? Spinach.
Awesome.
So, I mean, most kids, they're not even going to touch green stuff. So we're just so proud of them. And we're so excited for all of you who are watching this or been here, because this is the greatest gift you can give your family. It really is. The protection, the hope, all of it. It's just the greatest thing you can do. It's a tiny investment. And like Brandy said, they gift it to your children. And there's nothing better that you can do for your kids. This helps them in so many ways.
Thank you, Shelley. Thank you, Gage.
You're
Well,
welcome.
something that comes to my mind too about Juice Plus, and Brandy and I talked about this earlier, is I did get to have it, for all of my kids prenatally. And it's so important. I just finished my precision nutrition certification, and there's a whole section there about pregnancy and how it's not only important that the mom, right? I mean, it's most important that the mom is doing so many good things while she's pregnant, but it's also so important what you do before you are wanting to start a family. And it's so important what dad is doing before you guys want to start a family. So Shelley, I think you're the perfect example, because you guys didn't have that with your first two. And it's both you and your husband had that nutrition.
And I can speak to that because our second child is our kid that gets sick. And at the time of her conception is when we found out 4 months after she was born, because we were in the doctor's office for a baby checkup, that Scott had celiac disease. So he was battling an autoimmune disease at the time that she was conceived. And so I honestly believe that what was passed on to her was not as strong as our other kids. And so because he was battling that battle inside of his body, and the DNA that she got passed on was not quite as strong. And so she has to work harder. She works really hard to stay well. And so it's not that your kids won't get sick, but that I am 100% believer in it. It comes from mom and dad to make a healthy kid. So that's why the family health study is so awesome, because it's not just for moms. I mean, it's for all of us parents.
Absolutely. So we're getting ready to close. I had just mocked up just kind of a couple other like tips. We think that it takes a village to raise a healthy family. And so this particular image is just a couple of tips. So you are a role model for your kiddos. So embrace habits as a family. You know, even if there's one specific one in your family that maybe needs it more than another, if you guys can do this together and make them feel like it's a collective family thing, it's definitely going to be more compliant, and you guys are going to be able to be more consistent with it. And it's good for all of you, right? From the whole from surviving to thriving, no matter where you are on the spectrum. If you just want peace of mind as a parent, or you're looking for a competitive edge, this covers all of it. 2, it's easier to shape a child than it is to change an adult. And you've heard many of us say that tonight. Like we didn't have to have the food fights. There's not fruits or vegetables that our kids won't eat. I mean, they may not prefer them all, but they're gonna try them at least. And that's a huge parent win. Kids don't do the shopping. So give them healthy choices and make the poor food choices absent. Give your kids a say, say something like, you can pick the vegetable, you want to eat tonight. Get them involved, let them shop, let them meal plan, let them cook with you. It could be snapping green beans, or it could be tearing up the lettuce leaves for salad. It doesn't have to be super complicated, but the more that you involve these kids in the process, the better. You can even help them, they can help you to grow fruits and vegetables. And we have a system called the Tower Garden, that you can grow vertically your fruits and vegetables year round, indoor and outdoor. So if you want more information about that, let us know. And lastly, end the food fights in your house and make it easy for your child to fall in love with fruits and veggies, just like it is for Millie, and it was for Danielle's boys, and it is for Ethan, and it is for Shelley's kids, and shaping their taste with Juice Plus. So I'm going to turn it over to Brandy.
Well, we're just excited that you guys joined us tonight. As we have grown through these last 19 years, I just remember 19 years ago, I was a fast food junkie. And we were eating canned corn and canned green beans, right? And the statistics that forever changed the direction of our family's life were these statistics. And this is when the light bulb moment went off, because our kids are our future, right? 1 in 3 children born today will have cancer in his or her lifetime. Guys, we don't have to accept that. That's why we're on this mission. We do not have to accept that, right? 75% of all chronic diseases are preventable through proper nutrition. That's hope, y'all. When I say 75% of chronic diseases, that's talking cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and autoimmune disorders, right? And I bet if I asked that question, we all could raise our hand to somebody that we know in our immediate family that has had that diagnosis. But we heard it tonight. Shelley sharing that gauges the cardiologist visit from this past summer to the summer before has radically changed. And you all, I don't know if you know this or not, I did not. And this is what got me excited as a medical professional, because I was not taught wellness and prevention. I was only taught disease and medication, right? But we have the opportunity to heal our body up to 97% every year with proper nutrition, right? So when I think about Juice Plus, I think of Juice Plus as functional food. That is exactly what Juice Plus is, right? We have the fruits, we have the veggies, we have the berries, and we have the omegas, right? The orange. It's functional food. It's our seatbelt to our health. Jamie gave that analogy. And I sit there and often say, because I have a cousin who lost a child to cancer, and oftentimes she held him down on the floor to give him that awful tasting medicine, right? She said, if I would have only known about these when he was alive, right? So my point of the story is, we get to be the advocates, not only for ourselves, but our children. And I don't know of a more simple and convenient and easier way to shape our children's taste now and shape their future. It's just amazing. And so I'm just going to encourage you to get with the person who invited you to this call tonight to learn more about it. They're real stories. It's why 19 and a half years later, I continue to share this message and mission because it's hope. Hope that families are praying for every single day. And let's be honest, I'll be the first to tell you, I overcomplicated it. I wish I could tell you I got it from the very beginning. I didn't. My husband got it when I was working at the hospital over a weekend. And he's like, Brandy, this is a no-brainer. It makes sense to bridge the gap, right? And I got to do the gut challenge just last week. And it's amazing how I went from being a picky eater and only eating canned corn and canned green beans to getting close to 30 on top of this, right? So you just don't know what you don't know. But what I can share with you, it's because of it being functional food and really shaping our taste that all of a sudden we start really craving the food that we eat. So I just invite you to not only learn a little bit more about the product if you don't know, but I'm going to invite you to join in on our mission because it's time to take our health back. We do not have a healthcare system. We have a sick care system. And I tell you what, it feels way better to be healthy than it is to be on that sick side. And so we're looking for foot soldiers just like you who's listening tonight to join us in on this mission to take our health back and to bring hope back to others as well. So thank you for being a part of this. And we love that your children joined us. And this is going to be the best school year ever. I promise. And let's just start with adding maybe one fruit and vegetable each week, right? You never know. One simple change can make some profound differences over time. So blessings to a great school year.